it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm here sharing a new layout for Cocoa Vanilla Studio. I'm going to be using the Boys Rule collection, and I have a series of 3 photos of my little man and his little cousin who I'm going to be documenting. I've gathered out some embellishments that I wanted to use, so I sort of want to go with a blue, green, black, grey sort of a colour scheme. And in terms of design, I'm not really sure yet. I do want to make a focus of this photo because this one here is the one where my son's smiling all cutely. And yeah, I'm just going to have a play and see how this layout turns out. So to begin this layout, I start by matting my photos on some of the pattern paper in the collection. I wanted to highlight this little photo here because my son is cracking up and just has the cutest little face, so I've used that green pattern paper to do that. And of course I got out the middle of my backing border paper just because I like to be thrifty like that, and I always find that little things like matting photos, those sorts of inner pieces are perfect for doing that. So I add some foam, fun foam to the back of that green photo because I want that to be a focal point. And off screen as well, I also stitch around the edge of my layout just to add that extra detail and texture to the page. While I'm after I've stitched the layout, I do bend up the edges as well. I like the look that gives. And now I'm just piecing together some of the embellishments that I've gathered to the side that I thought would coordinate. It's quite sometimes I limit myself with the color palette that I know I want to work with collections. So I find that if I gather out all the embellishments that I think will work, it makes choosing what I want to add to my page a lot easier because I have less choice than a whole packet. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to say. So I'm working on sort of a vertical design really, and you can see I'm looking and trying to get all the different bits and pieces to work out, and essentially what is here on the layout at the moment is sort of the gist of how it's going to look in the end. So I am starting to adhere some bits and pieces down. I knew that the frame, I wanted it to go there, so I'm trying not to move it too much because I had it in the right placement with that photo that I wanted to be the focal point. And I'd also added some foam adhesive to the top and the bottom photo just so that they were able to sit on the top of that frame. Now, it was the first time I think for this layout that I was using more of the title pieces from the clear stickers. So that Fun Times is a clear sticker, and I really love the way that scripty font looks, and it nestles perfectly below that frame and just makes the layout, I think, what it is in the end. So that arrow works as a really great directional tool to draw your attention to my journaling, which is what I'm going to be adding shortly to the page. And of course, I've grabbed some smaller embellishments like those Swiss crosses and those bits and pieces just to add those finishing touches. I'm using a typewriter now, which is something that I always do, and I don't keep the whole process of me typing out my journaling on. Same with normally sticking on my journaling as well, just because I find that I don't want to bore you, but I do think I leave a lot of this in just because it doesn't take too long. So I've journaled just a little story of these photos, and poor little Brycey, the little bub in this photo, he's him and Jack, like Jack calls him baby Brycey, but we were out having coffee, and Jack had the iPad as a great distraction tool, and Bryce was wanting to have a look, and they were playing a little game where Bryce was putting his hand towards the iPad and Jack was sort of flicking him away. But then, of course, Jack doesn't know his strength sometimes and flicked a little bit too hard, and poor Brycey ended up with a lovely little bruise on his head, which I felt terrible for, and Jack felt quite terrible for as well, because that wasn't his intention to hurt little Brycey. But I had to document it because that pre-lead up to the hurting was just adorable, how funny and how much they were both giggling and smiling. So there's the close-ups of this layout, and I spent lots of time talking about the photo at the end and not the process, but I hope that you have enjoyed this video. There is some links now for videos you might like to check out, and I will be back soon with more layout shares. Bye everyone.